Are you ready to get back to the basics of Call of Duty? All the maps, all the weapons, remastered, all of these features and more are playable right now on your Steam Deck. I'm going to show you how to do it. Stick around.
Let's go into the Bungalow world.
All right, well, let's get this party started. Of course, the party is always over in desktop mode, so let's switch over there now. This is the part where I preach that you should probably be using a mouse and a keyboard, but c'est la vie. All right, let's open up your browser. I'm using Brave and download my helper pack. It's hosted on Internet Archive here. You're going to just download the zip file. This isn't very big, folks. This is fairly small, so it won't take forever. But let's download that to downloads. Make sure that the zip extension is preserved. Hit save. And again, nice and quick, small pack. And now that we have that, let's extract it. Open up Dolphin. Find your downloads folder. We also split the screen in two. We'll need that later. And let's right-click zip and extract here. Yeah, helps if I actually get it right. Okay, there we go. All right, so what's in here is what you're going to use to do your business. I'm going to rename this helper pack folder to something a little more concise. And you can put this wherever you want. I'm putting it on the SD card in my games folder. This is where I keep track of all my third-party type stuff. All right, so I've copied that over. Well, I moved it. And you'll see we have a folder, 2 files. Perfect. Now it's time for the long part. Well, long part number 1, actually installing the game. Now, you do have to own a legit copy of this, as far as I know, and it must be installed on your internal drive. I'm sorry for those of you who have a 64 gigabyte SKU. Make sure you have about 120 gigabytes free because it's going to be a long haul. So while this is installing, we can also queue up the multiplayer version, which is another bunch of nonsense. So those are going to install, and that takes forever. All right, so yeah, while we're doing that, though, there's a couple things we can do. Go into this launcher folder, right-click the exe, and hit Add to Steam. This is where you're going to actually launch the game from now on. And pop Steam open, go to your library, and I'm going to just use the filter here to find the exe. Helps if I could type, but, you know, typing around a microphone sucks. All right, here we go. Perfect. Now find the launcher exe, go over to the gear, properties, and we're going to set this for Proton Experimental. Others might work. I like staying on Proton Experimental for third-party stuff. All right, so we're going to play it once. It's going to install a bunch of support stuff. You can see that in the bottom there, reserving space, etc., etc. I'm going to leave this in so that you can see that there's actually something going on. And don't panic if you hit play and nothing happens. There's probably stuff happening. Now, you may already have all this stuff on your system, so it may just instantly start. So we'll let this thing finish itself up. Now, it's important to note that I use this helper pack to pre-configure everything. I had a lot of trouble getting it to work from scratch, so I did a bunch of work on the PC and then moved the files over. All right, so you are going to get this error about WebView twice. I'm sorry. I'll try to fix that in the future, but you can simply ignore it. All right, so now we've got the launcher running. We're not going to do anything with it. We're just going to close it. We needed to run this so that it would create the Proton prefix so we can do other stuff whilst we're waiting for the actual download to happen. All right, so great. Let's go ahead and run Proton Tricks. We need to get in there and install some stuff. Now, it just so happens this is a fresh build on my deck, my LCD deck, so I don't happen to have Proton Tricks. We're going to install that from the Discover store. Type in Proton Tricks or some portion thereof, like I do here. Perfect, and there it is. So we're just going to install that guy. This is going to help us find the Proton prefix that was created for the Horizon Modern Warfare launcher. We need to inject some stuff into that to make it work correctly. So that's what we're going to be using Proton Tricks for. If you're really super clever, you could probably do this some other way. But again, with Linux, there's about a million different ways to do stuff. Ignore that error message. There we go. Hey, there it is. The launcher, hit OK. It's going to take a moment. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer than it should, but just be patient. It'll come up. And again, I'm leaving this dead space in here so that you can see it's not just you. It also happens to me too. So some things I'll cut out if it's not important. But in this case, I like you guys to see how long this stuff can take. There we go. All right, so we're going to leave it selected on the default, which is select the default wine prefix. Yeah, no, I don't need your reporting. Okay, thank you. Go away. All right. Now, run an arbitrary executable. We got 2 executables to run. And we'll find our launcher folder, which remember I put on my SD card under games. There she is. Grab the first folder, go to the bottom, select the x64 version. This will install all Visual C runtimes, which is what they tell you to do in the instructions on their website. So this is what we're going to do. All right. Actually nice and quick. Great. Now we need to run a second one, right? Because there were 2 things that we needed to run. And let's go back to the root of the launcher folder, and there's the Windows Desktop Runtime. We'll install that as well. Again, it takes a moment to do its thing. There we go. Install, yada, 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 and done. Perfect. All right. So now we're kind of done with this piece of the equation. We can close out. You can go ahead and close this out. You can cancel out of here. And we're done with Proton Tricks. So we've kind of done everything we can, right? Now it's just the wait. So we will now go ahead and wait for everything to install down here. All right, it's done. Through the magic of desktop editing, you don't have to suffer through that entire process. So now we're ready to actually run the single player campaign. I'm just going to hop over back to my library. And we're going to, you can see that some other stuff has been installed here, maybe. All right, so here we go. We're going to run the single player campaign first. And again, this might take a moment. So again, I'm going to leave in the dead time here for you. Feel like having like some elevator music in here. All right, again, these can take some time, especially on first runs. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. Hey, this is looking pretty good. Of course, this isn't what we want. We want the modded version. We're also going to launch multiplayer. Once we launch multiplayer, it's going to run in the background. Say okay to that. That's okay. And again, this can look like it's taking forever. Just let it go. It will take bloody forever. I might have cut some of this out because I didn't want to. Well, no, I guess I didn't. Good. I wanted you guys to see how long this can take to come up. Now, once the multiplayer comes up, it's going to want to build shaders. I would go ahead and let it build the damn shaders. Now, this takes bloody forever, but welcome to the wonderful world of being a PC gamer. So we're going to let this thing populate on its own. I'm going to cut most of it out for you so you don't have to suffer, but I definitely recommend finishing that up before we go. All right, I'm going to reboot myself into desktop mode now that all that's done. I exited the game properly. Make sure you exit the game properly. Now we're ready to run this launcher again from gaming mode. All right, again, we're going to see these. You can hit the A button actually to get past those. If you see new updates, if you see missing files, if you see any of that nonsense, you need to accept it. So it's going to download the launcher, then it's going to say, hey, there's some files out of date. This download missing files thing is kind of buggy. So I used a mouse. I tried using the on-screen mouse. It was just kind of weird. You may have to shut down and start it over again. I don't know what was going on with that, but it's very, very finicky. Eventually it did work though. Just know that if it's not you, it's happening to everybody. Now this process does take a long time. Now it depends on how close to the download servers. Now it chose Amsterdam for me. I don't know why. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, USA. So this process takes forever. This is being saved inside the game binary folder, which means it's a folder that's under the scrutiny of Valve. So we're going to take some precautions just to make sure Valve doesn't screw with this folder. But in the meantime, let's let this thing download. I'm going to go ahead and skip past the longest piece of it because this can take a really long time. Okay, so we zoom into the end of this thing. It's on its last file. Good Lord. And I had to do this twice because I did not do the little trick I'm going to show you. So you get to benefit. All right, so missing files were downloaded successfully. Great. All right. Perfect. Now we're ready to hit the play button in the top left. Yay. It's been a long time. It's been over 10 minutes now. We're finally, well, 10 minutes for video time. More like 2 hours for the rest of the time. Now, if it says that your computers appeared to change, I just say no, and it seems to be fine. Again, this happens if you don't shut down properly. So just shut down properly as often as possible. All right. There's our first run. You'll see the letters appear in the bottom right. Again, this takes a really long time. It's not unheard of. I think it's faster on subsequent runs. So you have to just put up with this initially. Hey, listen, it's worth it. It's a great Call of Duty game on your Steam Deck that runs awesome without a bunch of nonsense from Activision. So all of this nonsense is worth it, in my opinion, of course. Let's let this thing finish up. Again, I'm not cutting this out because I want you to see how long this takes. Hey now, hey now. All right. Now you might have to click in here. For some reason, I don't know why it just sort of sits on that screen, but all right, now you go to your options. I'm not going to mess with anything in here. Feel free to do whatever you like. I just wanted to make sure the gamepad was selected. I'm using the mouse because it's easier while recording to use the mouse. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to show you here. As you exit, and make sure you always exit cleanly, don't just shut it down, you might get this error message. That's okay. Just hit OK. It doesn't seem to kill anything. Now, what you do probably want is an escape button here. I'm going to set escape to the rear grip button of L4. You could use the on-screen keyboard, but this is just easier. You need this to get out of the server browser, so we'll just set that. Perfect. And while we're here, we might just as well rename this sucker into something that makes a little more sense. You guys can skin it however you like, of course, but at least it's named correctly. Now, this is the only way to run this game. Do not run it off the other launchers. In fact, it's probably would behoove you to hide them from the system. We'll show you that in just a minute. Let's do a quick restart. I just want to make sure everything is good after the restart. And okay, so here you go. Now, I've got my system to only update games when I launch them. You'll want to do the same. Along with that, you're going to want to hide these just to make sure you don't accidentally run them. Because if you run them, they might update. And if they update, they might see the mod stuff in there and they might remove it. So we are going to take both the single and multiplayer under privacy, and we're going to hide them. That way I never ever accidentally launch one and possibly screw up my mod. Okay, so we've got everything set up to only update when I launch and to hide them from me, which is perfect. Now let's give it a go. This should be golden. It should work fine. There should be no updates. This should be what you will experience out of the box moving forward. Now, I'll work on that, folks. Get these out of the way. Perfect. Bloop. All right. And everything should be ready to go. Just hit play. There we go. Nice, nice. And let's take a look. Okay. Now remember, this was quite a while here before. See if it's a little quicker in subsequent runs. Is anybody counting how many times that graphic cycles? Because I am. It's one of those weird things. I know it still seems to be taking a long time, huh? But will it be as long? I don't know, it seems as long to me. But then again, it's doing a lot of stuff. So this is the price that we pay for not having Activision involved and having the very best that Call of Duty has to offer. Okay, perfect. So you might have to hit the button in here somewhere. I don't know why it sits on this screen. Maybe it's trying to play a video or something in the background. But if you click, you'll be fine. All right. So now you hit play online. I know you've been dying to see some actual gameplay here. And what happens is this is all now on custom servers. So when you do find a match, you're going to have to go find a server with the appropriate map and the game mode that you want, and then has open players. Kind of sucks. But Now that you've got this, it's time to get playing. I'm going to leave the rest of this video with some gameplay straight from the Steam Deck. No commentary, so if you just want to watch for a little bit, great. If not, thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Hopefully you enjoy what we do here, because we sure do like helping you out. I'm Shane Armanero. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. See you next time, and enjoy the footage.
Target down.
UAV online.
Reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading.
Enemy UAV spotted.
Tango. Changing mag. Target down. Grenade! Target down. Reloading.
UAV online.
Tango down. Tango down.
Enemy care package incoming.
Changing mag. Tango down. Changing mag.
Enemy UAV spotted.
Grenade! Cover me, I'm reloading! Change
Domination.
target neutralized!
Let's do this.
Securing Alpha.
Reloading. Tango down!
Enemy Cobra incoming. Enemy UAV online.
Cover me, I'm reloading! Tango down!
Securing B.
Target neutral.
Losing Charlie.
Cover me, I'm reloading.
Enemy care package incoming.
Target down! Target down! Reload!
Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted.
Changing.
Friendly Predator missile inbound.
Cover me,
UAV online.
Flat.
Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Care package on the way.
Target neutral.
Losing Bravo.
Victory is within our grasp.
Advanced UAV online. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Lose 3. We lost Alpha.
Tango down! Target
Losing
down!
B.
Changing mag!
Target down.
Enemy UAV. Incoming.
Tango down!
Enemy Harriers incoming.
Going this way.
Target neutralized.